Dykema, who had a huge game against Madonna last time out, will do the jumping for CU. Luke Rollinson, Blake Stewart, Mason Brooks, and Toby Wolcock on the floor, and we are underway. Cornerstone wins the tip. Mason Brooks will collect. The Golden Eagles will look to put up our first tally of the game here against a team that was picked in consecutive seasons to win the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. Swing it to Luke Rollinson, who floats one inside to Dykema. Face up, drives in, puts one off the glass, but it kisses off the front of the rim as it's carried by Isaac Anderson into the front court. And Amani Weston will set up the offense. Pulling up quickly, a jumper off the mark by Isaac Anderson as it caroms into the hands of Blake Stewart, who hands off to Toby Wolcock. Big win last time out for CU. They're on a winning streak as Stewart slips along the baseline and travels. Turns the ball over back to Madonna. No score. They'll get the ball right back here.
Always an unfortunate turnover, especially when it's something you can't control necessarily.
Cornerstone, again, 15-7 coming into this matchup, 11-3 overall, 2 games behind Indiana Tech for the lead in conference play. Crusaders working it around. Amani Weston looking for a screen, gets one, but decides to reverse back to the three-point line. Now on a surge forward, and he has it poked loose by Mason Brooks, who saves it along the baseline. Toby Wolcock, hair on fire into the front court. Rollinson directs it back up top as they find Stewart in the corner. Rollinson considers a three, now floats along the baseline and can't fill it. Rattles in and out. Isaac Anderson running in transition. Ethan Emerzian, he can score inside as well, but he's known for his three-point shooting. He's going to test Cornerstone here tonight. Amani Weston loses the handle, and Mason Brook collects. Shuffles it off to Luke Rollinson. Still in search of our first points of this game. Wolcock takes it up strong and can't finish. Kisses off the side of the rim. Here comes Isaac Anderson again as they find Emerzian for an open look. No good. In and out it goes. Rollinson battling the ball back and saving it from its demise. Nearly touched that out of bounds line. Was able to fight it back from Anderson. Still in search of our first one. Stewart can't capitalize.
It's been a very entertaining first 2 minutes despite no score.
Two of the best scoring teams in the conference playing a little defensive ball to begin this first half. Matthew MacLellan backing his way in on Dykema. Spins, floats, leaves it short, but a rebound squirts out to Brendan Young. New shot clock here. Young in the corner. Faces up on Brooks. Drives past and can't get the roll, but a rebound underneath that Matthew MacLellan is able to capitalize on. 2-0 as Madonna grabs the first tally.
There's a couple shots there Madonna put up that the entire team of Cornerstone was around them, and great control, just didn't cash in for too many buckets.
Cornerstone looking for a big response on this possession. Knifed inside. Dykema denied. Brendan Young skying up to clear house, then Emerzian a three. Off the back iron, no good. Weston ripping it down underneath. The second try from Young. Glances off the side of the rim into the paws of Toby Wolcock. Carrying his way inside the three-point line and has it jarred free by one Amani Weston and out of bounds, and an inbound upcoming for CU inside of 3 minutes. But despite the scoring for Madonna this year, they've allowed a lot of points on the opposition. 5th most at 77 per game. Again, Amani Weston sneaking in behind Mason Brooks to jar that one free. And so the focus for them here tonight is how do we shore up things defensively? Cornerstone's had no issues scoring points in bunches. Two of the most efficient offenses in the conference. Near side, Stewart. Almost has it taken away, but he finds Wolcock, who spins and slices it to Mason Brooks for a pump, sidestep, and a three. Brooks bangs it home and puts CU back in front 3-2. Then a quick response. Matthew MacLellan. Nothing but net. It's 5-3. Madonna back in front.
How about that for a chef kiss response?
And they are so quick, too, and they can pour it on you in a heartbeat. Mason Brooks trying to find another bucket and consecutive trips. Gets tied up and is fouled. Going to whistle Amani Weston on that one. His first personal foul of this game. And Cornerstone inbounded along the baseline. Team first for Madonna. Mason Brooks was also another big piece when you look back at that championship game against this Crusaders team just a season ago. I called them the unsuspecting villains because really Cornerstone struggled during a stretch in that year. Were able to pick it up later in the season and come back and win that conference championship. And now you think that's more on the other side for Madonna. Began the season 2-6. I remember our first broadcast here, I said something to the effect of there's trouble in paradise. Well, clearly, paradise looking more like paradise now. 13 to shoot. Brooks on a pump fake. Tries to spin past Young. Now spins and fills it. 5-5, all 5 coming from Mason Brooks.
I want to quickly highlight how great that defense was early on in that offensive possession against Cornerstone. It had a great cutting basket.
Mid-range jumper off the mark from Isaac Anderson, but snared right back by Matthew MacLellan. Emerzian working it around. Young fires. No good. Toby Wilcox skies up for the rebound as he runs in transition. Rowlandson up top, pumps, drives, spins, and gets tied up. Has that one ripped away. Anderson, a layup. And getting into his chest, Ethan Emerzian not allowing Luke Rowlandson any room, and Madonna jumps back in front 7-5.
How about that great unintentional defensive stop there by Emerzian on that poke away?
Dykema almost has it jarred free by Matthew MacLellan, but getting it right back is Blake Stewart as he surges in towards the bucket. But too strong off the back glass. Josh Wan getting his first look of the game as he gives it to Brendan Young, who takes an extra step. Traveling violation back to Cornerstone, and it's time for our favorite part of the game, media timeout, inside of 15 minutes. On the day that we celebrate the 2015 National Championship team, this Cornerstone squad looking to get back to that point. Most tournament wins of any team in NAIA history. Brooks hooks and leaves it short. Isn't able to get the front of the rim. Isaac Anderson taking it the length and getting 2. Scoops it with the finger roll, and it's 9-5 as Cornerstone will look to trim that lead on this possession. Caden Bird, someone that they could probably lean on to do just that. Mason Brooks spinning off of Brendan Young as he feeds Toby Wolcock, who works it to Bird, and then right back to Rowlandson near side. Mid-ranger, free throw line. Off the front of the rim, no good. Bird there to rip it back. Dykema swings it. Brooks, another one!
I was just thinking about how great that defense was for Madonna. They've been very clamps down, but nice job to create some separation there.
Second three-point bucket for Mason Brooks. He's feeling it from distance, and that part of his game has come along. Isaac Anderson. Madonna looking to strike right back. Matthew MacLellan considers one, hands it right back to Anderson, who lasers one inside to MacLellan, who finishes, plus the harm. Late defensive rotation for Cornerstone. Wolcock gets hit with the foul and a chance for the big guy to add one more at the stripe. Here up by 3. Matthew MacLellan, senior out of Canton, Michigan. Seems like an area that Madonna's done well recruiting in. They got a player on their women's team from Canton as well. MacLellan makes the free throw, so 3-point play the hard way. Makes it 12-8. Now a 2-possession game for Madonna. Checking in for the Crusaders. Sasaroga. Levi Schultz takes over for Connor Dykema. Wolcock will carry this ball up the floor. Looking to chip away at that Madonna lead a little bit. I believe it's 12-8. Scoreboard says 11-8. Wolcock flings it to Bird as they sauce it around the 3-point line. Now back to Wolcock up top. Just 13 to shoot. Schultz weighing his options. Bounces it backdoor. And it's wide of Mason Brooks and out of bounds. Brooks arguing that it was tipped on its way there, but they'll give the ball to the Crusaders. Here up by 3.
I'll say great passing by Cornerstone, but it kept looking like they were trying to find a shot from the perimeter. And instead of doing their typical, maybe try to work inside and then maybe create an open shot, that's how they've been able to get things going. That's how Mason Brooks has been able to score all 8 points for this Cornerstone team so far.
This is a team that can get hot and hot fast in Madonna. Trying to avoid that in the first half. It's something that Lords really saw handicap them as they fell by 2 in that last matchup in Sylvania, Ohio. Isaac Anderson, 12 to shoot. Now Young considers a 3, scoots one inside. Nice find, but unable to finish it is Josh Wan. Ripping it down into his chest is Mason Brooks. Outlets to Andy Mora, and now steps back in the mid-ranger. Hands it off to Mora, who works it right back to him. Can't hit the tray. Bird on the rebound. Rollinson considers one, now takes it inside and tries to underhand skip one to Levi Schultz. Can't get a good handle on it, and here comes Madonna. Pace, space, speed, all things that describe this team. Emerzian offering a screen for Isaac Anderson. Considers a 3, but gives it up. 11:45 to play in this first half. Now Emerzian, Young. Hand off to Josh Wan. Flings it, baseline, reverse layup off the bottom of the backboard, but they're able to fight it back. Brendan Young tears it away underneath and floats one off the glass, and good. 14-8. Cornerstone in desperate need of a bucket here. You feel like there's been a lid on the bucket for them majority of this first half. Minus that guy, Mason Brooks bounces one back door, and it's Levi Schultz who scorches it. 14-10.
That was snapping their 2-minute scoreless drought right there.
Brendan Young hesitates inside the three-point line as they swing it to Isaac Anderson. One-on-one against Andy Mora, finds room, floats one, no good, but a board underneath, and a denial by Levi Schultz. Jump ball, and it'll stay on that side of the floor. Sassaroga, physical board underneath. Levi Schultz was able to stay on top of him. That'll keep the ball there with 10:47 to go in half number 1. Again, last time out for Madonna, 82-80, a win over Lords. And won in a way that they've won a lot of their games this year. Shootouts. Young, he's ready for one. Hits the three-point bucket off the inbound. 17-10. Bird with the response. Anything you can do, I can do better. And the stats, at least from three-point land, have bared that out this year for one Caden Bird. MacLellan working on Schultz, goes up strong, got it, +1. Second time in this game, MacLellan has gotten the bucket plus the harm and the big guy. We'll go back to the free throw stripe with a chance to make it a 7-point lead.
Yeah, Bird, definitely one of the hottest shooters from 3 for this Cornerstone team. Leads all of the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference in three-point percentage with 54.6%. I'd say that's a pretty good clip.
You talk about good clips. You got to talk about this guy at the line. 6'9", again out of Canton, Michigan. Over 50% from the field, just 13 points a game. That's pretty efficient, but his inside scoring ability is something that's going to be tough on Cornerstone. And again, much like CU, Madonna combines both aspects. Cornerstone looking for a big 3 to maybe get that momentum back. Instead, Dykema drives in on MacLellan, and a block.
Madonna is not happy with that call.
Yes, plus the harm. Dykema converts. Madonna's bench, their fan base has a little problem with that one. Not going to lie, I thought MacLellan got there. I thought he was pretty well set up with his feet. You know, sometimes those blocks and charges, it's one of the interesting parts of our game as Dykema converts. It comes down to a judgment decision oftentimes for the referees. Madonna looking for a response. Young. Ooh. Tries to laser one to MacLellan across the way, but it sneaks through the 5-hole. They call that a nutmeg in hockey. Out of bounds, and CU has the basketball as timeout is called. They're hanging up here at Cornerstone, obviously 1 of 3 Coach Kim Elders has won, and obviously Jackson, 32 years here at the helm. It's kind of crazy to think that you can have a job for over 3 decades, but I think that's what we're all trying to do in one way or another. But able to stick around and have a lot of success, and talk more about that team as we go here today. Dykema, handoff, Bird hits the 3. The Birdman soars into the 3 column. 20-19, and they cut that lead down to 1. And how nice is it to have him? Brendan Young takes one straight away. Can't get the friendly roll. Bird soars in to rip it back. And what do we have? Cornerstone ball. Amani Weston tried to spike it off the leg. Andy Mora along the sidelines. Can't get the job done, though, as Mora will float one overhead. Here to Levi Schultz as Cornerstone looks to retake the lead. First time they've had the lead in this game. Blake Stewart, who tries to leave one for Connor Dykema after charging to the tin, but it's turned over as Isaac Anderson floats one to MacLellan, who drives and travels. Blake Stewart tied him up momentarily, and that forced him to take the extra step, and it hands it back to the Golden Eagles down 1.
I have a feeling Noel Emmenheiser and the officials are going to get to know each other quite well this afternoon.
Obviously, he's one of those successful coaches that gets on the referees, just trying to give his guys some favorable calls. Andy Mora trapped in the corner. Rainbows one to Levi Schultz. Finds Bird as they work it back up top here for Mora with 11 to shoot. Tries to drive on Anderson. Now finds Connor Dykema, who has it ripped away. Anderson to Young. Tries to stop for a 3 look, but hands it off to a cutting MacLellan, and a block against Connor Dykema. That ran over in the process. And I don't know if they're going to call this. Yes, they are going to call this one on the shot. MacLellan was in the shooting motion, so 2 coming up for the big guy.
How about that steal by Anderson? I feel like that was so swiftly, and he got down there very quickly as well. And I mean, it's not the first time we've seen that already here in this first half, but this Madonna's defense is it's been looking really good here to start. It's made Cornerstone look almost slow to start.
They've been known to give the ball away, Madonna. The turnovers have been an issue, but steals have not been. And that's how they've won a lot of their games. MacLellan can't convert on either of the 2 free throws. And in a game like this one, where statistically you're very even, that's where it's going to be won and lost. Mason Brooks nearly throws it away, but Bird there to recover as Mora on a charge. Has it sent away. MacLellan. Sonic boom to clear house. Send that one out of bounds, and I love the fearlessness of Andy Mora, but sometimes the size mismatch up just too much to overcome. He shuffles one into Blake Stewart, who loses the handle. Great pressure. Amani Weston forced him to knock it out of bounds.
Nate, you alluded to it during the women's game, but that drive to the basket there, and then they turn around, throw out to the top of the perimeter. That was kind of like you accidentally pressed the wrong button in 2K.
MacLellan, hand off to Emerzian, who gives it right back. And he goes on a rack attack. 22-19, it's 3 for Madonna. Cornerstone can tie it up with a big bucket of their own. Good closeout defense to shut off Bird there as they try to give it right back, but Connor Dykema didn't see Bird cutting and fires that one out of bounds with 7:40 to go in half number 1. Bird and Mora will check out. Woolcock, as well as Luke Rollinson, back into the game here for Cornerstone.
8 turnovers for this Cornerstone team here early. I mean, there's 5 on the other side, but it has felt a lot more larger for the Cornerstone team.
It's typically not one to turn the ball over a lot. Anderson off the screen from MacLellan, finds him down low. He spins inside and somehow shuffles it to Amani Weston, who's money from 3. 25-19, largest lead of the game for the Crusaders, or rather second largest. Brooks tosses it inside off the leg of Dykema. A mad scramble ensues. And it's Imani Weston who emerges from the pile, finds Emerzian. Anderson tries it from three and hits. Now it's the largest lead of the game, 28-19, and you see the energy on the other. 28-19 our tally. Cornerstone and Madonna here on the Cornerstone Sports Network. Glad to have you back in, everybody, joining us on this Saturday. Only a couple more games for both sides left in this building. 2 more, to be exact, for both the men's and women's team. Cornerstone down by their largest margin. Woolcock looks to change it, but it's too strong, but it's tapped out to Mason Brooks, who can't spray it home. Back-to-back misses from distance. MacLellan runs into the front court. Leaves it for Young, who shifts it off to Emerzian on a drive, and got it to go. He can finish from outside. He can also finish in close. A double-digit lead for Madonna.
A double-digit run as well, 10-0 over the last 3 minutes.
And they might have a few more. Anderson makes it 13.
Madonna right now, 6 for their last 7 from the field, 3 for their last 4 at the three-point line as well. Isaac Anderson, 3 for 4, and MacLellan as well, 5 for 6.
Blake Stewart in the corner, shuffles it inside to Dykema, being doubled. Brooks, Woolcock, back to Stewart, bodying up. This ball ping-ponging around, trying to find any open options, but a sweltering defensive pressure for the Crusaders. Rollinson pumps from the corner, but his foot was on the line. Turns the ball over back to Madonna. The Crusaders, feels like they're on a crusade in this first half, taking out everything in their sight, up by 13, and they got the ball back just north of 5.
And ain't that the truth? I mean, it kind of feels like almost there's a home court advantage right now for Madonna. That bench right now doing a lot of the work, keeping the momentum up and into it. And right now, Cornerstone just looking not like the Cornerstone that we're used to.
It highlights the importance of the bench getting into it, too, because especially in an environment like this where it can get as quiet as it does, it's tough to get any mojo going. Pull up, midi, off the mark by Imani Weston. Woolcock on the rebound as he fires it into the front court for Rollinson. Cornerstone looking for any sort of response. Woolcock loses the handle and is fouled in the process. Imani Weston trying to pursue that ball.
Scary moment there for Weston. I mean, Rollinson took that dive to try to get the ball, and he landed right on Weston's head. Both of them okay, though.
Sportsmanship from Weston, helping him back up to his feet. Into Woolcock with 20 to shoot, and Cornerstone trying to slice this one to 10. Rollinson. Brooks considers one from 3, but pulls it down. Now steps back and launches, and hits. Was inside the three-point line, so it counts for 2. 32-21, but inching back in the right direction as the Crusaders will just try to pour it on a little bit more. Their offense running like water. MacLellan backing down. Brooks throws one up on the hook shot, and it falls. 34-21. You have to find some sort of answer on the defensive end. Levi Schultz floats in the key. No good. Somehow pulls down the rebound and works it out to the three-point line for a 3 from Rollinson. Side of the rim. And their closeout defense has just been so good in this game. That's what's made it so hard. Emerzian and Madonna can make it a new largest lead of the game on this possession. MacLellan fires and puts it in.
Jeez. His points just keep racking up for MacLellan. 18 points on the day so far.
16-point lead. Mason Brooks gets this one in the corner, steps inside the line, and rattles one home. And he has been at least the one shining example of good offense in this first half for CU. Now he's tasked with stopping Ethan Emerzian, or rather MacLellan. Backing in, shuffling one underneath, 4-2. Found Satchel Love. And a kiss of love off the back glass to make it 39-23, matching that largest lead at 16. Rollinson, a fake against Young, plows his way in towards the rim and draws the contact. Ethan Emerzian, a little hip check on his way to the 10. And we'll give Cornerstone an opportunity. Has had to offer the last 2 years, and he has them rolling here in half number one.
Yeah, how about, you said raining. How about this Madonna team? 19-4 run over the last 6 minutes, and this is just no answer for Cornerstone right now.
Luke Rowlandson, situated along the three-point line, fires one to Dykema, who looks to shuffle one back door to Bird. Almost loses the handle, but they work it back inside for Dykema. Spins with three, floats with two, off the side of the rim.
In any other day, those baskets are going, but right now, this Madonna defense too hard pressed.
Anderson trying to force the issue in transition. MacLellan working on Brooks again. Again, backdoor for Love, but Brooks clears house. Sneaks in behind and sends that one back. Stays on this side of the floor for the Crusaders with 16 to shoot. Cornerstone's built a reputation of being one of the better rim protecting teams. But we're not seeing some of the best rim protectors on the floor right now. Brooks defending Love and gets that one to pinball around and out. As Wilcock pulls it into the front court. Brooks working off a screen, now bodying up on MacLellan as he fades and rips it. Mason Brooks with the first half to remember. Now it's just up to the rest of this Cornerstone team to step it up. 14 to 9. Quick trigger. Juan! His first one of this first half. 42-25, 17-point lead for Madonna, the largest of this game. Swings it up top for Toby Wilcock. 15 to shoot, officially at the 2-minute warning in this first half. Hesitates. Jab step. MacLellan can't get him off his mark, so Brooks tries the corner three and can't get the carom he wants. Rebound handed off to Isaac Anderson. Emerzian, no good. Leaves it a bit short. Wilcock will try to get it right back. Sees a lane, hooks one with the finger roll, and is fouled by one Ethan Emerzian. So Wilcock will go to the free throw stripe with just 1:37 to go in this first half. And this is a statement game in a lot of ways for Madonna. And I think that's probably what Noel Emmenheiser stressed in the locker room before this game. We lost to him last year in the WAC championship. We were supposed to win it. We lose to him earlier this year when we were picked preseason favorites to go out and win the whole thing. And now, on the road, in this environment in Mole Arena, kind of adds to that level of intensity. Timeout for the Crusaders. They lead at 42. .137 to go in the first half. Cornerstone down by 16. Madonna looking to eclipse that 20-point lead mark before halftime, and it starts on this drive. MacLellan, Juan, can't get another one. It's Toby Wilcock who inches his way across the timeline. Hands it off to Dykema, who lasers one right back to him, and he finishes on the layup in close. 42-28. Lead down to 14. They're going to need a few more stops like that. Anderson has it sent back by Wilcock. Then they find him in transition, and he converts on the finger roll.
This is what this Cornerstone does. They're going to figure it out eventually, and they're going to try to finish strong here.
Jermaine Davis seeing his first action of the game. Chest pass to MacLellan. Flings one out top. Juan again. Another one. Makes it 45-30. That lead back to 15. And again, this is just what it is when you get into early holes against Madonna. And the thing is, in the second half of that game against Lords, they really tore it up, Lords did, but still couldn't come all the way back. Wilcock holding on to this one, looking to burn down the rest of that game clock here in the first half and maybe put one in at the buzzer. Accepts a screen from Brooks. Now swings one and drops it in the bottom. 3 seconds. Anderson in transition. Anderson, a push off. and they're going to call it a charge. Thankfully, buzzer sounds. We might have to inbound it. We might have a split second left on the shot clock. It was called about 1 second remaining.
How about Wolcock down this final stretch, scoring 6 of his 7 total points here? It's enough to get a decent shot off if you can have a nice inbound.
Mason Brooks, a baseball heave. Not quite. Would have been a good toss from center field, though. 45 take off here on the Cornerstone Sports Network. Oh, there we go. Second half action. About ready to take off. Cornerstone Sports Network.
Not bad.
It's all right. We got the button pressed, so that's the most important part. Luke Rollinson inbounds it. Toby Wolcott, Cornerstone, down by 13. Trying to get the first points of the second half and get some semblance of momentum back on their side. Dykema skips one back door to Stewart. Works it back up to the three-point line for Brooks, who pumps and then is fouled by MacLellan. Soaring through the air. Ends up giving him a butt to the side of the head. Cornerstone keeps the ball.
So there's been a couple times today where Cornerstone has like pump faked something or other, and Madonna has bit so unbelievably hard that I feel like now he should just kind of start going for it.
The closeout defense has been there, and that's the thing that I think has helped them out a lot in this game. Aggressive. Getting out to that three-point line, and against one of the best teams in that regard. Stewart off the handoff from Dykema. Hangs, can't hit it though. Too strong, and then Wolcock is chopped down trying to pursue that basketball. Foul by Amani Weston, and almost kind of looked like a cut block on that play. Ended up taking out Wolcock at the knees. He's slowly back to his feet. And Phil, the athletic trainer, is slowly doing his rounds. We saw him attending in that first half to Brendan Young, who I think might have gotten hit in the face or something along those lines. And now he's kind of standing there waiting patiently, but it looks like Wolcock's good to continue.
Say Weston's taking a couple of big hits today, especially to the head.
Cornerstone can cut it down to 10 with a big bucket here. Brooks rainbows one to Dykema, maybe not 10, but they'll cut it down to 11.
Nice little football pass there, over the shoulder catch.
Young back in the game here. Drops it off to Amani Weston. He finds MacLellan baseline, who works it back into Young and bodies up on Luke Rollinson as he gets the layup to go. Two teams trading buckets just over a minute into the second half. Wolcock to Rollinson. Fires one over to Luke Rollinson. Gets it back to Wolcock. Now Brooks, here they go, swinging it. Dykema takes a three and misses it. Leaves it way short, skips off the net. Amani Weston tries to rise up over Luke Rollinson and finishes at the 10.
What a
49-34.
What a great way to defeat the size mismatch right there.
Toby Wolcock with Cornerstone down by 15. Blake Stewart shuffles it to Dykema. Now gets it back on a cut as he's able to scoop and score. 49-36. MacLellan, a handoff. Here to one Ethan Emerzian as he has it tipped by Dykema, and it's just enough to send it off the mark. Wolcock running in transition, trying to drive by Weston. It puts it through. 11. Cornerstone can maybe cut it inside of single digits if they can get a stop and a bucket here. Isaac Anderson probing. Ends up finding Weston in the corner, who tries to sky one inside to MacLellan as it poked free by Connor Dykema, and they'll hold on to possession with 15 to shoot. Coming up for this Cornerstone team on the road at Defiance, what should be pretty run-of-the-mill victory for them. Young, catch and shoot three. Not enough mustard on it. Hisses off the front of the rim as Wolcock gives it off to Connor Dykema. Still circle the bandwagon here at the three-point line, looking for an open opportunity. Brooks nearly throws it away. Stewart there to recover and pull it back in. Now with 11 seconds to shoot. Dykema screens for Wolcott. Gives it right back to him and is fouled on his way to the 10. Ethan Emerzian got him on the wrist, and now look at CU. A chance to slice it within double digits with 2 free throws here from Dykema.
Yeah, really a lot of this lineup for Cornerstone. I mean, it shows in the score, but really hasn't been doing a whole lot. Rollinson especially, no points still. Same with Blake Stewart, no points. Mason Brooks carrying a majority of the load with 14 points up to this point.
So for whatever it's worth to the people who are keeping score at home, the live stats are frozen on my screen. I don't know if it's the same situation with you, but
yeah,
I'll try to do my best to maybe keep physical track of what's going on stat-wise, but trying to give you guys an accurate look at this game. Isaac Anderson dancing with it. Finally gives it up to Young. Now Anderson finds a lane. Decides to circle it back to the top for Emerzian. On a charge, has it sent away. Connor Dykema, all sorts of fired up. Skies over the top, says think again. Inbound for Madonna with only 5 to shoot. Trying to push this one back to double digits. MacLellan off the inbound, loses his footing and travels. Tried to lean into Mason Dykema, or rather Connor Dykema a little bit, and he did the old Olay. Waved the flag and let MacLellan fall over a little bit, as now Cornerstone can make this a 2-possession game on this drive. They were down by 17 in the first half. And a foul. Monty Weston trying to body up on Luke Rollinson, and this is what makes it so hard about defending Luke, is he is a shooter, he's a scorer. Wouldn't say he's necessarily undersized. I mean, he's a tall kid for sure. 6'4", but his willingness to invite physicality oftentimes can throw defenders off of their game. Wolcott fakes on the screen. They toss it opposite side to Mason Brooks. Dykema looking for options. Finds a cutting Stewart, who sauces it to Mason Brooks in the corner. Drives baseline, triggers it to Wolcott for a 3, off the mark, but Dykema there on the second opportunity.
Beautiful put-back shot.
Cornerstone, one of the best rebounding teams, second chance teams in the conference. They're going to need a lot of those to get back into it. Down by 7. Weston trying to make it 10. Off the back iron, no good. They're so good at rebounding, they fight themselves to get rebounds. Wolcott and Dykema both skying up at the same time, but it's Wolcott who comes away with it. Down by 7. Mason Brooks fires one into the hands of Dykema, who hands off to a slicing Luke Rollinson, who can't put it in on the layup, but works it back. On Juan, no good. And somehow not a foul from behind. I thought Juan for sure got his hand on that second attempt, but it bleeds out into the hands of Anderson as they try to set up the offense, but Wolcott and INT steps into the lane, drives, and can't convert on the finger roll. Great defense by Young retreating. Finds Juan in the front court and gets it back in the paint. Now they pass it back and forth. Isaac Anderson settling things down. Amani Weston with Dykema on him. Jabs, dances, reverses to Juan for 3. Front iron, Weston aboard. Money. Maybe that one on Connor Dykema just slipped a little bit underneath. Couldn't retreat to get that basketball, and the lead stretched back to 9 for the Crusaders. Again, Cornerstone eyeing an opportunity to make it just 2 possessions. Brooks will try it. Lances off the side of the rim. MacLellan a rebound. And look at how fast they are. Watson tries to feed it inside. Back to MacLellan, but it's knocked away as Mason Brooks dives and pulls it in. And a jump ball is called, but it will be possession in favor of Madonna. Timeout called. Media timeout. And 14:06 to go in the second half. 8-2 run for Cornerstone. Madonna looking to respond. on this possession, still holding on to that 9-point lead, and a foul by Wilcock underneath. Ended up hooking up MacLellan. He ends up drawing the foul. Been able to stay away from a lot of foul trouble here today. Just their fourth as a team today. First, they're on Toby Wilcock. Madonna looking to put one in. After Imani Weston hit on a jumper, MacLellan trapped down low, finds the aforementioned Weston. Fires it to the opposite end, but gets it right back. Tries to drive on Stewart, gets the jump, and gets the bucket. Drew the jump from Stewart, then hit him with the reverse layup. It's back to double digits here at 11. Cornerstone's been towing this line of right around double digits. Stewart finds a lane. Young closes it quickly and denies him at the 10. Sound defense by Young. Madonna runs in transition. Juan in the corner, tries to tightrope the baseline, leaves it short. Stewart pulls down the board, but it's jarred loose momentarily. Andy Mora gets it. Wilcock, little give, fake give and go, and he gets it. Plus the harm. 53-44, and Toby pushing it in transition, finishes at the 10. Down by 9, can make it 8 here at the stripe. And how good has Toby Wilcock been in stretches for this Cornerstone team? Obviously playing down players. And that's the other thing I want to mention. Haven't seen Jack Joldersma tonight. So much like some of the other injuries we've seen this year, it just seems like all of a sudden they're not playing, and now you're kind of questioning why. And against a Madonna team like this, it's a big, big piece to be missing for CU. Madonna can stretch it back to double digits on this possession. MacLellan. Weston hesitates, now flings it into the corner for Juan. Nowhere close, and then Wilcock tries to save it along the out-of-bounds line. Weston ends up running into him, and now I guess I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
Noel Emmenheiser right into the face of the referee. You got to wonder how long of a leash things like that. At 12:45 to go in half number 2, Cornerstone down by 8, back within puncher's distance. It was 17 at one point. He could put another big dent in that lead with a bucket here. 12:39 to go in the second half. Wilcock spins one to Bird, who hands it off to Brooks, who nearly gives it away as there's a scramble for it on the ground. And Weston gets sent sprawling down by Brooks. But MacLellan able to recover, and then fouled by Andy Mora in the front court. Mora with a push. Stays with the Crusaders on this end of the floor. Team second in this half for Cornerstone, first on Andy Mora here tonight. Anderson off the inbound in the corner, looking for a screen, gets one from MacLellan. Pirouettes, back to Juan. Young, NBA range, money! I think the bench is liking that one. 56-45, it's 11.
That was from Livonia distance.
Stewart to Brooks. Mora pumps. Looking for options as they swing it here near side for Blake Stewart. They seek Mora from Coopersville. No good. The kid from Coopersville on the rebound. He considers one. Gives it up to Mora as they circle it to Mason Brooks for 3. Front of the rim, Bird tips it, Stewart able to work it free, and then Brooks rips it right back. Stops free throw line, weighs his options, gives it off to Stewart, who is fouled by Juan just shy of the 10. And that will send Blake Stewart to the free throw line for 2.
I know there was a lot going on there, especially in the paint, but they missed a wide open Wilcock on the left side. And Wilcock has scored 5 points here this half, but he's yet to miss or has yet to make a 3, so he's about due from that range.
It just has so much to do with the sweltering defense of this Madonna team, too. There's just not many options when it comes to moving the basketball. They'll try to address a wet spot on the floor here. Sweaty bodies Gym floor inside of Mole Arena. Looking back at what we had earlier today, obviously the second half of our doubleheader today, the women's team ended up winning their game against Madonna. Stewart off the mark on his first free throw. Senior day inside of this building, a ton of Cornerstone alums stopping by. Saw Madison Folks at their alumni game last time out against Michigan Dearborn. There were a lot of old faces and names in this building. Kennedy Helderup, who was a big part of those early days for Jess Yonkers. I don't know who else. There's some others on the list too. Stewart somehow has that one spiked off of his leg. I don't know how Josh Wan saved it.
I think a pretty athletic play by Juan. I mean, great job to identify the situation he was in.
Madonna by 11, looking to capitalize off of Blake Stewart's inability to hit those free throws. Emerzian, Young tries it again. Nylon! Young is probably wishing right now he could stay forever young. The model of consistency from deep in this game. Adds another one from distance. Andy Mora now with CU down by 14 as Anderson is whistled on an off-ball foul. Tried to stay tight on Mason Brooks. Gets whistled for that one in the offensive zone. They'll inbound it with 20 seconds here to shoot for CU. But unbelievable three-point shooting here tonight and stretches for Madonna. Just 42%, but when they've needed it, they've gotten it. Brendan Young has led the way in that category. Circling up top, here's Cornerstone. Cycle one to Mason Brooks in the corner with 5 to shoot, who finds Rollinson through the heart and rips it on the layup. 59-47, need a stop. Juan, a quick transition three. Blinding, fast in transition, and they make good on it yet again. We bleed halfway through the second half. Mason Brooks fighting through Juan. Backs him down, spins, and is fouled. Juan getting up into him physically a little bit. Having to be backed up by his teammates. Here's Brendan Young steps in. You can tell Jackson coming into this game that I don't think they were just satisfied with winning this basketball game. I think they wanted to make a statement. Of course, still a lot of basketball left to be played. Mason Brooks is good. So far, so good for him here tonight. 15 points, his first points of the second half. So whatever the conversation was during halftime, trying to figure out a way to shut him down. They've done so successfully. Number 2 is good.
You know, one of the things that stands out to me today is I think the three-point shooting for Cornerstone. I mean, they're shooting at a 28% clip. They're the third best team in the conference at three-point shooting.
Emerzian launches. It's good. 4 consecutive threes for Madonna. Brooks walks the fine line along the baseline as he finds Andy Mora up top. Rollinson off to Woolcock as he looks back door, but no options there. Now gets it back and fires. It's good. Splashes it in from 3, 65-52. Solid response that time for Cornerstone when they desperately needed it. Emerzian emerges and finds Juan as he gives it right back to him. Now Young in the corner. Been burning CU from distance. Anderson tries it. Can't get 5 straight, but Juan is fouled underneath the bucket. Luke Rollinson, little clearing the lane penalty there. Tried to hook him up, maybe grab him a little bit on that rebound attempt. Who has caught fire from distance in this second half. Right now, 50%. Or rather, just under 50% from 3. 45.8% at the moment. Juan will throw this one in from the baseline. So it's one to Young, who works it off to Emerzian. Off the dribble, tries to find a lane. Up with the reverse layup. But the Birdman will be having none of that. A clean block from behind. Pulls it in with that big right paw. Rollinson thinks about it from distance. As they spin it back to Woolcock. Gets it back, launches from three, in a trifecta. 65-55, now just a 10-point lead inside of 10 minutes. Anderson, they swing it to the opposite side. Now here's a Merzian, one three-point shooter, top 5 three-point shooter, defending the others. They try to get the switch, and they do. Opens up Juan, near side for three, trifecta. And that's all it is. Get the switch you want. It forces the defenders to rotate over and try and help, and then it opens up the options you have outside. Second half three-point shooting off the chain for Madonna right now. Dykema down low, trying to back in, being doubled, running out of options, and he travels. Merzian tried to pull that one away, and then Connor Dykema maybe getting into it a little bit with them. Some Madonna players having to step in the middle and separate the two parties. And this is a really important one for Madonna to get here today. When you think about their pursuit of trying to get back towards the top of the conference, it would make them 1-1 against Cornerstone. So you wouldn't have the tiebreaker. And, of course, on the other side for CU, it was really important to get this win because right now there are a couple of teams with a tiebreaker over. Lourdes University, Lawrence Tech. Figured this was almost as close to a must-win as it gets. Weston looking to add to his total, and can't. Circles around off the front of the rim as he reverses to a Merzian. Floats one right back to Weston. Cornerstone shutting down the inside. MacLellan with his back to the basket, intend to shoot. For Juan, up top, off the mark from three. Dykema rips in the rebound. Woolcock runs in transition, has the bucket in front of him, and gets a bump from a Merzian as he tried to outlet it into the corner for one Mason Brooks. For a Merzian, that's his 4th foul of this game. Also, Weston has 3 of them in this game. Still 7:23 left to go, so obviously not a player you want to lose off the floor in a Merzian here tonight. But I guess if there's one thing Cornerstone has done a good job at, it's reducing him and his three-point shooting. Just problematic when everybody else can hit. Toby Woolcock, first free throw good, lead down to 8. They were able to get it down to 7 in this half. Woolcock can match that with a made free throw here. And does. Monty Weston. Off the screen, gives it back to MacLellan. Considers one straight away, but attacks Dykema on the drive. Brooks got to it. Second opportunity, can't fit that one through. Mason Brooks flings it, Stewart in transition. And he rips the net on the finger roll. 68-59 our tally. Weston. Circle it back near side. Now for Sasaroga, who tried to back his way in. Taps it back out for one Anderson. Off to Juan. Pumps, drives, and fouled by Rollinson on his way to the 10. A couple free throws coming up for Juan at the stripe.
Madonna has cooled off a little bit. 1 for their last 7 out from the field. They've been scoreless over the last 2 minutes or so, which doesn't feel like a lot, but it has been. It is compared to what we've been watching all game up to this point.
Juan's first one, back iron, no good. Josh Juan with 12 points here tonight. All of them, by the way, coming from the three-point line. Could add one from the stripe. And does. Gets the friendly roll. Stretches that lead back to 10. Here's the thing. When you look at recently for CU, they've been actually kind of outscoring Madonna. 10-4 is the mark coming into this possession. They're going to make it maybe 12-4 or 13-4 as they try to inch their way back. It's just so tough when you get down early against this team. Dykema Considers handing it off to Stewart, but spins his way inside and scores it anyway. Face up on Sassaroga. Lead up to 8. Cornerstone, Young. Continue to swing it. Now Weston considers driving in. Reverses back out and hands off here to Anderson. Little zone look from Cornerstone here. Now Stewart jars it free, dives for the ball, finds Rollinson, who shifts it to Brooks and scores! Plus the harm! Chance to cut it to 5. However, Weston down on the floor at center court. That's what he's trying to explain right now. And Jackson, you've been there. Rolling your ankles probably, it's one of the worst pains in the world. It's right up there with taking a razor scooter to the shin or the ankle.
It's just such a freak accident. It's like there's nothing you can do about it either.
Brooks gets 3 the hard way. A steal, a bucket in transition, and 1. Now that lead down to 5. Things just got a lot more interesting here inside of Moll Arena. Madonna trying to stretch it back to more than a 2-possession game as Sassaroga is fouled by Mason Brooks along the baseline. Whistle sounds. Anderson was going to put up a shot just to try and get the confidence back. Wilcox said none of that. Largest lead in this one for Madonna, 17. Emerzian gets the feed, finds MacLellan, down low. Brooks jumps, fouls him. He can't get the and 1. He was out of position, really had no choice but to try and time up the jump. Now MacLellan can stretch it back to a 3-possession lead at the stripe here with 5:25 to go in half number 2.
So Emerzian back out there, and he's in foul trouble. One more, and he's done for the day. I know they got to kind of keep on the gas pedal here, but interesting that you don't see him sit for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, just to give you guys a look, Emerzian has 4, Weston has 3. MacLellan adding his 3rd on that last one. Free throw is good, makes it 72 to 64, or 71 to 64, that is, beg your pardon. 7-point lead in favor of the Crusaders. Cornerstone can make it a 2-possession game yet again. Brooks hangs, can't hit. Stewart there underneath, and he is hit with the foul, trying to box out Josh Wan. And he's hit with the foul. Or check that, Blake Stewart, that is. They are in the foul, so that means Juan will approach the free throw stripe. You're up by 7.
This is when games start to drag a little bit, especially down this final stretch. But for Cornerstone, up to this point, they've played a pretty clean brand of basketball. Only 10 fouls as a team. Only 2 guys with more than just a foul.
That'll certainly help. Missed free throw by Juan. Toby Wilcock looking to add to his team leading 20 already tonight. Rollinson way downtown. Oh, yeah! Needed that one. Lead is just 4 for the Crusaders. Trying to stop the bleeding on this possession. Anderson looking for MacLellan. MacLellan airmails one inside for Young. Trying to work on Brooks. Back to the big guy. Corner 3. Front iron. Stewart a rebound. They can make it a 2-point or a 1-point lead for Madonna right here. Chest pass to Mason Brooks from Luke Rollinson. Looks back door for Dykema, but he lost his footing. Now they finally do find him inside. On Young. Has a lane. Tries to drive. Now to Wilcock. On the cut. And he hits the bottom. It was 17. The lead is now 2. Young. Anderson finds some space. Kicked away by Stewart. Scramble for it on the ground. And a jump ball. CU possession. And the chief complaint, I'm sure, here from the Madonna side, it looked like Rollinson rate the 2015 graduates and national champions in attendance today. By the way, 14-3 run for Cornerstone over the last 3:04 has taken that lead from 16 and 17 all the way down to 2 with an opportunity to take the lead here. Inside of 4 minutes, 3:55. Here we go. Mason Brooks looking for options. Finds Dykema, who looks for cutting Luke Rollinson, but can't get it there. But he does now, and he can't convert on the 3. Dykema tries skying in to take that one back. A roll of the eyes from Luke Rollinson. He saw the opportunity to take the lead, but just left it a little bit short.
I understand why he took that shot, but it felt like he was very off balance, more so on his back feet.
Emerzian emerges along the baseline and scores. Found a gap and was able to exploit it. It's back to 4 points, and that one kills if you're CU. Have to try and keep the positive momentum. Dykema, handoff to Woolcock, who floats one back inside, and MacLellan ended up deflecting it. Got that big paw up in the face of Connor Dykema, tips off his hand and out of bounds. Can he get the ball in? Running out of options. Finally, Rollinson emerges. Tries to drive in, and he traveled.
Yeah, he took about one too many steps there as he tucked the ball up into his shoulder. And it just feels like Cornerstone was playing pretty, not perfect, but pretty close to perfect basketball, and things are starting to wobble a little bit.
3 minutes. Can make it 3 possessions here for Madonna. Young, who has been money from 3. Off to Anderson. Reverses to Emerzian. Attacks off the dribble. Baseline and is fouled.
Ooh. Felt like there was a lot of ball on that hand.
And they're going to call Luke Rollinson on it. Back to the free throw stripe goes Emerzian.
I know
Fourth personal foul there for Luke Rollinson.
I know I can be pretty critical, but that one felt like it was more hand to the ball than it was to the wrist.
Now, I think there's one reason why Emerzian ended up on the floor, maybe because there was a little bit of a hip check or something along those lines. It's the sleight of hand that is oftentimes hard to see from where we are in our vantage point. Emerzian makes good on the free throws, and those are critical here down the final stretch. Still just a 2-possession game. Wilcock lets it roll a little bit in order to save some time. It's a screen from Mason Brooks. Reverses track to Rollinson for a heave. Yes! 3-pointer from Lucky Luke. Back to just a 1-possession game with 2:26 to play.
Rollinson really starting to get going here in the second half. That's a big pickup for the
Emerzian sidestep. You bet!
Oh, wow.
He's been quiet today, but when they've needed him, he stepped up. A rematch of last year's title game. Madonna, of course, lost on their home court last time these two faced off. I think for them, they've been thinking this has been a long time coming, long overdue to get a win over CU. Cornerstone trying to work it back to a 1-possession game. Rollinson in the corner. Gives it to Dykema, who finds Brooks near side. Money from 3. Brooks gets into the 20-point range. 22 and a combined 44 between him and one Toby Woolcock. It is the 2-minute warning with CU down by 3. Madonna needs a big bucket here. Emerzian launches and fills it somehow. Had no option, so just decided to take it himself. That's a 2, 80-75. Brooks, just a minute 28 to go. Rollinson tries one himself. No doubt! You give me one, I give you one. Madonna Can they make it 3 in a row? Emerzian will take it himself and is fouled at the 10. Dykema wrapped him up on his way up. You saw him waving off the rest of the offense. A la, what, LeBron James? I don't know, name any NBA superstar that just wants to take it themselves in big moments like that. And now 2 massive free throws at the stripe. Here for one, Ethan Emerzian.
Did that three-point shot by Rollinson even touch the net?
I don't know.
Because it didn't
That's
look like
That's
it.
a good question. First one off the mark. That's a huge miss for one, Ethan Emerzian.
Emerzian now, just remember, still playing with 4 fouls on the day.
The senior from Troy is good on his second. That was the one he absolutely needed. Still a 1-possession game, though. Wilcock calls timeout, and they'll chat it over. Madonna, in a lot of ways, brought the majority of this roster back this year with the express intent. The last game they had against Lords, the Grey Wolves. Lords couldn't complete the comeback. They fell by 2. Cornerstone finds themselves down by 3 with 1:06 to go. Toby Wilcock off the inbound. Floats one to Dykema. Versus one to Stewart. Little jab step, Juan on him defensively. Wilcock looking for a swinging Luke Rollinson. Can't quite get it there, just 13 to shoot. Now off to Stewart, accepts a couple of screens. Can't find an opening, so takes it himself. Fades in the key, off the front iron. That's a big miss for CU. Emerzian a rebound. He can work this clock all the way down to 9 seconds if he wants to. But here's the thing, Jackson Hayden, they need a bucket in order to make it safe. Need a bucket in order to make it 2 possessions as we bleed inside at 20 seconds. Emerzian. Oh! Money ball! Wilcock, Brooks, and a response. (84-81). It's now time for CU to do a little fouling and praying. 3-point lead. Don't go anywhere. I'm not quite sure what this game is. Ethan Emerzian with a prayer that's answered, and then Mason Brooks with a career game here tonight. 25 points, adds another 3. It's a 3-point game with 8.1 to play. Trying to come away with a turnover. Instead, they get it to Emerzian. That's not the man you wanted to see get that basketball. They do foul him, and Emerzian with a smirk on his face will walk to the free throw line. Did miss the first one the first time, or the last time around, that is. So maybe an off chance that he's off on this first and Cornerstone can grab it and run. At the end of the day, if they're not able to finish it on top, you're going to really look back to early in that first half. Emerzian can make it 20 with a pair at the stripe. And it rolls in. Senior trying to put the game on ice. They're going to need a quick 3 here. Wilcock finds Brooks. Has to step into one. Rollinson finally heaves, and it's tipped by Brendan Young. Juan pulls it in off the block, and the Crusaders have ended their 3-game drought against Cornerstone with this win on the road.